Welcome to Man Utd Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Manchester United transfer news and rumours. Our first news is Man Utd news. Kobbie Mainoo transfer update as academy graduate could make shock move. There are some big decisions to be made at Manchester United ahead of the January transfer window. With the January transfer window just around the corner, Old Trafford is once again buzzing with excitement and anticipation. Manchester United are no strangers to busy windows, although their record in the winter market has been decidedly mixed. For every Bruno Fernandes and Nemanja Vidic there's been an Alexis Sanchez and a Dong Fangjua. January has often proved a tricky period form-wise for the Red Devils too, but shrewd business next month could provide the spark Ruben Amorim's side need to kick on and mount a serious push for a Champions League place. Links to big-name arrivals have been circulating for weeks, alongside rumors of high-profile departures. While no deals have been completed yet, one thing is certain: when it comes to Manchester United and the transfer window, drama is never far away. With that in mind, here are the latest United-related headlines. Amorim has admitted that it would be hard to sanction a loan exit for Kobbie Mainoo, particularly if United don't source a replacement for him. Mainoo has spent the bulk of the season watching on from the subs bench, leaving his United future, and his spot in England's World Cup squad, in serious jeopardy. The 20-year-old requested to leave on loan in the summer transfer window and is expected to push for an exit again in January. But with Amorim's squad looking a little light in midfield at the moment, particularly after Fernandes limped off against Aston Villa last weekend, his request may once again be denied. If we are not getting someone in, then we are shorter in midfield, the Portuguese manager said. Even with a full squad, we are shorter when something can happen here. We are a club with a big responsibility. We are dealing with all these issues, and in your head, my head, and everyone's heads, we need to win every game. It doesn't matter, there are no excuses, so it's going to be hard for someone to leave the club if we don't get a substitution, new signing. When asked whether Mainoo could kick on when he returns to fitness in the absence of Fernandes, Amorim said, he will have the opportunity that he has all the time. He played in different positions, and we talk about the position of Casemiro. He can do that. He can play, if you play with three, like we did in the last game, the position of Mason Mount in this game, he can play there. He is going to be the future of Manchester United. That is my feeling, so he just needs to wait for his chance, and everything can change in football, even in 2 days. Shock bid to re-sign academy graduate. Manchester United are reportedly considering a surprise move for former academy graduate James Garner. The 24-year-old spent 9 years at Old Trafford and made 7 senior appearances before joining Everton in 2022, following loan spells at Nottingham Forest and Watford. Garner has since established himself as a regular at Goodison Park and, according to the Daily Mail, United are monitoring the possibility of a cut-price reunion. His Everton contract expires at the end of the season, giving the Red Devils a chance to bolster their midfield at minimal cost, with the Merseyside club likely keen to avoid losing him for nothing in the summer. A return for Garner could open the door for Mainoo to leave on loan and may prove particularly important if Manuel Ugarte, also linked with an exit, leaves the club in January. While United continue to track higher-profile midfield targets such as Carlos Baleba, Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton, Garner represents a more economical alternative. Crucially, he would require little time to settle, given his familiarity with the club, and offers reliable energy, work rate and depth in midfield. Garner made just 2 Premier League appearances for United but featured more frequently in the Europa League, with all 7 of his senior outings coming during the 2018-19 and 2019-20 seasons. Stay tuned for all the latest Man United news, transfer updates, and breaking stories. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for daily Manchester United content. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for daily Man United news. Our second news is Man United injury latest and return dates for Wolves after Mason Mount update. Manchester United beat Newcastle United at Old Trafford on Boxing Day without Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo, while Mason Mount had to be replaced during the game. Manchester United beat Newcastle United on Boxing Day after Patrick Dorgu scored the game's only goal midway through the first half. Ruben Amorim's side held on in the second half to secure a 1-0 win at Old Trafford. They returned to winning ways, even in the absence of captain Bruno Fernandes. The midfielder sustained a hamstring injury during their loss to Aston Villa, and he has barely missed any matches since signing for the club almost 6 years ago. United had not won a game since the first weekend of December, when they defeated Wolverhampton Wanderers 4-1 at Molineux. Next up for them is the reverse fixture as they host Wolves on December 30th, and below is a roundup of their latest injury news. Mason Mount. Mason Mount was forced off at halftime in the victory over Newcastle. Amorim said the midfielder felt something before being replaced. He wanted to go on, and that is also a good thing, added Amorim when asked for an update on Mount's condition. He wanted to go to the second half, but we cannot lose more players, if you are not 100%. Potential return date, December 30th versus Wolves, H, or January 4th versus Leeds United, A. Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes is due to be out of action for a few weeks because of a hamstring injury. The midfielder was absent from the victory over Newcastle on Boxing Day, marking only the third time the Portugal international has missed a game due to injury since joining them. Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is still on the mend from an injury and could make a return to United's matchday squad for their Tuesday night encounter with Wolves next week. The defender has been out of action for several weeks due to injury and is nearing a return. Although it's uncertain whether they will be fit to return this month. Potential return date, December 30th versus Wolves, H. Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo has a calf injury that has caused him to miss United's last 2 matches. His return is imminent, but it remains uncertain whether the England international will be fit to play against Wolves or if he'll have to wait until the new year. Matthijs de Ligt. Matthijs de Ligt has been out of action for several weeks due to a back injury, but he's edging closer to a comeback. United are hopeful that de Ligt will be fit enough to join the squad for their clash against Wolves on Tuesday, with an update expected from head coach Amorim in the lead-up to next week's fixture. Ahmad is unavailable for Man United, as he is representing the Ivory Coast at the Africa Cup of Nations. He scored the only goal in the reigning champions' opening game, a 1-0 win over Mozambique. Bryan Mbeumo is also currently unavailable for Man United, as he represents Cameroon at AFCON. His country face Ahmad's on Sunday in a match that looks set to decide who tops Group F. Potential return date, January. Noussair Mazraoui is also unavailable for United as he represents Morocco at AFCON. The hosts currently top Group A after beating Comoros and then drawing with Mali on Sunday. Stay tuned for all the latest Man United news, transfer updates, and breaking stories. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for daily Manchester United content. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for daily Man United news. Our third news is Man Utd and Arsenal didn't want me, now I'm one of the top scorers in Premier League. A former Manchester United and Arsenal folk hero is currently enjoying the best spell of his career in the Premier League. Arsenal host Brighton on Saturday afternoon in what is another must-win game for the Premier League title contenders. The Seagulls have already made the trip to the Emirates Stadium once already this season, where they were beaten 2-0 in the Carabao Cup back in October. Brighton's in-form striker Danny Welbeck was involved on that occasion, coming off the bench to applause and adoring chants from fans of his former club. The 35-year-old will be hoping for a more successful outing for his side in N5 this time around, which is easier said than done when facing Mikel Arteta's Gunners. Of course, Welbeck shared a dressing room with Arteta for several years. But the Englishman is currently enjoying the finest form of his career, having netted 7 goals in 16 Premier League appearances this season, albeit currently struggling with a back injury. He has managed 0.64 goals per 90 minutes with a goal conversion rate of 28%, making him the joint 5th top scorer in the top flight this season. Welbeck was similarly impressive last season with 10 goals in 30 league appearances, with his latest hot streak sparking suggestions of an outside chance of making Thomas Tuchel's England squad for this summer's World Cup. The majority of Welbeck's England caps came early on in his career when he still played for Manchester United. The then promising forward realised a childhood ambition when Sir Alex Ferguson promoted him to the first-team squad in the late noughties. His breakthrough came in the 2011-12 season when he scored 12 goals, which remains his best season tally to date. Welbeck picked up several major trophies during his spell at Old Trafford, including the 2012-13 Premier League title, though his United future was thrown into doubt after Ferguson. Retirement. During David Moyes' short tenure, Welbeck was frequently deployed out wide and his opportunities became even more limited when Louis van Gaal took charge. That led to a shock £16 million deadline day move to rivals Arsenal in 2014, with Arsene Wenger famously snatching him from Tottenham's grasp while in Rome for a Pope-related charity event. Later explaining his bold decision to leave his boyhood club, Welbeck said, "At the time I was playing on the left wing a lot and in a 4-4-2, which is very difficult for me because I can't make an impact on the game. I can play it to the best of my ability but that's not best for the team, and I could make a bigger impact playing in my preferred position." He continued, "You start to have thoughts but at that time you're still going to training and I was still giving 100% and giving my all in every single game. That's just me, I'm not going to change that. But you do start to think about what's best for you." Then United boss Van Gaal made sure to take a swipe at Welbeck at the time, saying, "He has played, after his loan spell at Sunderland, 3 seasons at Manchester United but he doesn't have the record of Robin, Van Persie or Wayne Rooney and that is the standard." Welbeck, determined to silence his critics, became a fan favourite at Arsenal thanks to some crucial goals, including 3 against his former side, and 2 FA Cup triumphs. But his 5 years in North London were marred by repeated injuries that he left the Gunners in 2019 off the back of a broken ankle suffered in the Europa League group stage, having scored 32 goals in 126 appearances for the club. A difficult campaign with Watford followed in 2019-20 as the side were relegated. Welbeck then made one of the best decisions of his career by joining Brighton as a free agent in October 2020, while Graham Potter was still in charge. Welbeck has since racked up more appearances and goals for the Seagulls than either of the 2 Premier League giants he represented in the past, managing 44 finishes in 179 matches. While not a particularly impressive goal-scoring ratio, the last 2 seasons have seen the former England international develop into a more mature finisher in front of goal. This season, he is well on track to reach double figures in all competitions for the 5th time in his career. Speaking about his goal-scoring run, Welbeck told the Argus earlier in the season, "I'm happier than ever. I think the main thing for me is the consistency of staying on the pitch and getting a rhythm of playing game after game after game. Unfortunately, throughout my career, I've had some really big injuries that have maybe derailed that, and it's difficult. You have to try and get back into form, you have to try and get back to match fitness and that sort of stuff. But the last couple years have been really good, and I'm feeling really good. Long may it continue." Stay tuned for all the latest Man United news, transfer updates, and breaking stories. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for daily Manchester United content. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for daily Man United news. Our last news is, I played for Man United and get grief from their supporters. Liverpool fans are different. Liverpool face Wolves in the latest leg of their attempted resurgence, and one former Red puts their supporters ahead of their Manchester United counterparts, having played for all 3 clubs. Former Manchester United midfielder Paul Ince once shamed the club's supporters for their reaction to him joining Liverpool. And he put the Anfield faithful on a pedestal in comparison, crediting the Kop for their response after he departed Merseyside. Ince, 58, eventually found his way to Wolves, who make their own trip to Anfield on Saturday. And there's no comparing his relationship with Liverpool's loyalists compared to those at Old Trafford. The former England international, who has taken aim at United fans before, is understood to have fallen out with Sir Alex Ferguson prior to joining Inter Milan in 1995. However, any vitriol from United fans is largely due to the fact that Governor later joined bitter nemesis Liverpool. Ince captained Middlesbrough against United and later took the armband with Wolves when he again returned to Old Trafford over the years. And while he's always had a fond relationship with Liverpool's support, the same can't be said for those in Manchester. I get a lot of grief from Manchester United fans and I can't understand it, said Ince back in 2002. They should remember I was part of the team that took the title back to Old Trafford for the first time in 26 years. I sweated blood and shed tears in my 6 years at United and I think I should be respected for that. But all I get is stick whenever I go there because Ferguson once called me a big-time Charlie in some television program. So now it's a case of, let's wind him up again. Ince, who won 2 Premier League titles and 2 FA Cups at United, went on to acknowledge he didn't leave Liverpool in the best circumstances, after clashing with then-manager Gerard Houllier. However, it wasn't enough to make the fans turn on him. In fact, he put the Red supporters in a bracket of their own when discussing the contrast between the two fanbases years later. And those in attendance for the Christmas showdown against Wolves will be hoping to prove much of his praise remains accurate to this day. Liverpool European nights, you can't beat them, he said on the Blood Red podcast in 2019. They're special and it is iconic with all the flags. It is amazing. I think the atmosphere depends on the time, doesn't it? When we look at Old Trafford, because it is so vast now, it is so corporate, it's not the atmosphere that you do get at Liverpool. I love the Liverpool people. They come and support the team, they know football and they back their players. But one thing about the two teams, you never see them boo their players off, or very rarely. They are understanding fans. They are different atmospheres in different ways, but I like the way Liverpool look after their players, look after their own. Following a dire run of form in recent months, Liverpool now find themselves seeking a 4th straight win at home to Wolves. Victory on Saturday would at least temporarily take Arne Slot's men into 4th, with Chelsea set to host Aston Villa later this evening. Thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next one with even more breaking news, big transfer updates, and everything Manchester United. Until then, keep supporting the Red Devils and stay tuned to Man Utd Transfer HQ. Glory glory Man United.